Hello everyone and welcome back to another Marvel Champions video. Today I picked up the Rise of Red Skull expansion. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to get this open and going to kind of discuss the contents. So there's the front of it and we got our back here. We got our 5 villain scenarios. It also has campaign play, so you can basically play through a campaign starting with Crossbones and ending with Red Skull. We have 2 new heroes. We have Hawkeye and Spider-Woman. And I believe all of these scenarios can be played independently, or you can do it as part of a larger campaign. And I think this is the first product I've seen that actually has the new sleeves on there. So Fantasy Flight, I believe, is no longer making sleeves. They're doing sleeves from GameGenics now, and GameGenics are basically going to be like the same color coding system. So gray is just standard size. So you need 6 packs of GameGenics standard sleeves. I think they come in packs of 50. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna go get this open, and we're gonna discuss the contents. Been looking forward to this for quite a while. I think it got pushed back slightly. I think it may have supposed to be coming out like a month ago, but I think it did get pushed back. So it got pushed back until September. So here is our box. There's our little instruction booklet, piece of cardboard there. So instruction manual. We have our hero decks. So we have there's Hawkeye. Got a little bit of glare for the protective packaging. So there's Hawkeye. There is Spider-Woman, and these are pre-constructed decks. And then we have all of our villain cards here. So for example, there's Crossbones. That goes to Red Skull. And then I think you do still need a core set to be able to use this expansion, because the encounters will be using decks and scenario packs from the original core game. So where's that? Let's go ahead and check out the manual here. And here is the back of the instruction manual. There are, I believe I was reading some of the campaign manual online, and there are parts where you actually have to fill things out. So let's go ahead and just take a quick look at this manual here. So we have the introduction here. There's the set symbol, so you have the Hydra symbol there. Here's the rules for campaign mode. So there's a campaign log, which I think is this. So at the end of certain parts of the campaign, it'll ask you to fill this out based on what's happening. I know there is one scheme that I think poisons your allies. So if you have allies that are poisoned, those allies can't be used in the next encounter. You add cards to your deck based on beating scenarios. So here's, for example, here is scenario 1. This is Crossbones. And what it says is, so victory says each player chooses up to 1 tech upgrade from the Hydra campaign set and adds it to their deck. And then it says record the name of each experimental attachment that entered the game in the campaign log. Experimental weapon is attached to the villain, and then it says expert campaign, record each identity's remaining hit points in the campaign log, as well as any cards added to their deck. So an expert campaign, it looks like probably health does not reset. It looks like it actually in a normal campaign mode it will reset. And then scenario 2 is Absorbing Man. And then victory says record the number of delay counters on the main scheme in the campaign log. Each player may choose one of the basic condition upgrades of the campaign set, attach it to their identity, and add it to their deck, or add it to their deck in the campaign log. There's expert where it says, yep, record the hit points. So basically, your hit points will go down. They don't actually reset like I was saying earlier. We get into scenario 3 is Taskmaster. And it says right here, so victory, each player who rescued one or more allies from the Taskmaster encounter set adds those allies to their deck and records their names in the campaign log. And there's various ways to set each campaign each campaign mission is going to have a various setup instructions. So for example, with the setup for Taskmaster, each player searches their deck for all cards with the setup keyword and puts them into play. Shuffle each experimental attachment recorded in the campaign log into the encounter deck. Scenario 4 is Zola. And Zola states, for example, in the setup, each player searches the deck for all cards with the setup keyword and it puts them into play. Shuffle the experimental weapon deck or experimental attachment deck recorded in the campaign log into the encounter deck. There's a couple of different rules for expert. And then when you win, each player engaged with an enemy records they are engaged with an enemy in the campaign log. If the Hydra Prison side scheme is still in play, record the name of each ally underneath it in the campaign log. Those allies cannot be included in any deck for the remainder of the campaign. Okay, so it was a prison. I thought it was like a thing that actually poisoned you. If the Hydra Prison scheme is not in play, each player in hero form may replace their basic condition upgrade with its improved side. So basically, if you get rid of that plot, it looks like you'll be able to get better upgrades later on. And then scenario 5 is Red Skull. Red Skull himself. So here's Red Skull. It basically says each player, there's a set of keyword shuffles them in, experimental weapons. And then it says place X threat counters on the main scheme, where X is the number of delay counters recorded in the campaign log. Place X per player instead if you are playing an expert campaign. So basically, if you're playing on expert, you add that many more counters to the scheme. And then victory, Hydra is defeated, and the players win the campaign. Turn the page to read the conclusion. And it basically looks like there's an actual comic book that you can read basically between rounds. There is an expert campaign set as well. And here is the starter deck. So we have Hawkeye, a leadership build of Hawkeye, and an aggression justice build for Spider-Woman, because Spider-Woman does have 2 aspects you can use. And here is the campaign log. I believe there is a link. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can get a digital version of the campaign log if you don't want to write in your actual campaign log. So that's the campaign log. We can have the various decks here. So we have this is the Crossbones deck. There's probably a few more decks in here as well, or a few more encounters. There is some stuff for Red Skull. So this is what's this called? Master Strategist. We have the Hydra Hunter, which is a minion. And then again, we have our 2 pre-made decks. We have our Hawkeye Justice deck, and our Spider-Woman was Justice, and was it Justice and what else? Justice and Aggression. And Spider-Woman says superhuman agility. Interrupt when you play an aspect card. Spider-Woman gets +1 thwart, +1 attack, and +1 defense until the end of round. Limit once per aspect, so that's pretty good. Hawkeye is quick draw, so exhaust Hawkeye to ready his bow. So I'm probably gonna mess around with these decks a little bit. I think if I do the campaign, I'm probably gonna play with my Stunlock Captain America. I might play that a little bit later tonight, or maybe test out Hawkeye or Spider-Woman. And if I do the campaign, I may do a follow-up video, kind of just explaining how it went, and then I'll explain if I do play with Spider-Woman and Hawkeye. I'll do a video, or I'll add them into the video as well, giving my thoughts on these decks. I'm looking forward to playing these, especially Spider-Woman, because of the whole dual aspect element. And Hawkeye looks pretty interesting too, just because you basically have a whole bunch of different arrow cards that all do different stuff. Like some are explosive arrows that do damage. There's arrows that stun. There's arrows that can remove threat, and so on. So that has been the Rise of Red Skull expansion. Again, you get 2 new heroes. You get Spider-Woman and Hawkeye, as well as 5 scenarios, as well as campaign play. So again, here are the villains you can play against. You got Taskmaster, Absorbing Man, not Taskmaster, sorry, Crossbones, Absorbing Man, Taskmaster, Zola, and Red Skull, as well as there is Spider-Woman and Hawkeye. So that's going to do it for this video. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and we'll be back for another video in the future. Again, thanks for watching, and take care.